Heavy fighting continues on the Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka and Marinka fronts, with 17 combat engagements taking place over the course of the past day. Source: General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook. Information is of 1800 on the 18th of June. Details: over the course of the day, Russian forces conducted more than 40 airstrikes and deployed multiple launch rocket systems MLRS to conduct 60 attacks on positions of Ukrainian troops and on civilian settlements. A number of civilians were injured or killed, including several children, and a number of residential houses, a school, and other critical and civilian infrastructure facilities sustained damage. Russia continues to focus its main efforts on the Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka and Marinka fronts. A total of 17 combat engagements occurred between Russian and Ukrainian forces over the course of the day. The operational situation on the Volyn and Polishcha fronts remains much the same as before. There is no evidence that Russia is forming offensive units there. Units of Russian forces are undergoing training and coordination on training grounds in the Republic of Belarus before being deployed to fight in Ukraine. On the Severshchina and Slobozhanshchina fronts, Russia continues to maintain its forces in areas near the Russian-Ukrainian border. Over the course of today, Russian forces conducted airstrikes on Ohertsev, Budarki and Vesel Kharkiv Oblast, and deployed mortars and artillery to fire on Karpovichy Chernihiv Oblast, Saradina Buda, Horokhin, Roshkovichi, Tovstodubo, Bakhist, Bilopilya, Iskryskivshchina, Hyrine, Popivka, Kindrativka, Stepny, Pisarivka, Basivka, Lokhnia, Myropilya, Stepik, Sumy Oblast, Invlika Pisarivka, Pariv Kazakha, Veterinarn, Vovchansk, Budarki, Zemlyanki, Balahivka, Odnorobivka, Yudy, Streleka, Lukiantsy and Vovchansky Kudary Kharkiv Oblast. On the Kupiansk front, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive operations in the vicinity of Novoselivsky, Luhansk Oblast, carried out an airstrike on Kyslivka, Kharkiv Oblast, and deployed mortars and artillery to fire on Krasny Persh, Fyholivka, Novomlinsk, Vorokna, Zapadna, Kupiansk, Kyslivka and Berestov, Kharkiv Oblast. On the Lyman front, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive operations near Spern, Luhansk Oblast. Russian aircraft struck Bilohorivka and Murn, Luhansk Oblast. Stelmakivka, Nevsky and Bilohorivka, Luhansk Oblast, and Torsky, Verkhnekamiansk, Spern and Rozdalivka, Donetsk Oblast came under Russian fire. On the Bakhmut front, Russian forces made attempts to advance on Orikovo-Vasilivka, but were unsuccessful. Russian aircraft struck areas in and around Ivanovsky, Pivnikny, Bilahora and Teresk, Donetsk Oblast. Vashukivka, Orikovo-Vasilivka, Novomarkov, Bodanivka, Kalinivka, Chasev Yar, Ivanovsky, Ozaryanivka, Bilahora, Kostantinivka and Pivnikny, Donetsk Oblast came under Russian fire. On the Avdiivka front, Russian forces conducted an airstrike in the vicinity of Avdiivka and shelled areas in and around Karamik, Novokulinov, Stepov, Tanank, Pervomaysk, Nevelsky, Karlivka, Berdichi, Lastochkin, Avdiivka and Sievert, Donetsk Oblast. On the Marinka front, Ukraine's defense forces repelled all Russian assaults near the city of Marinka, where Russian forces conducted an airstrike. Russian forces also shelled areas in and around Krasnohorivka, Hostre, Heorhivka, Marinka, Pobeda, Maximilianivka and Alinka, Donetsk Oblast. On the Shakhtarsk front, Russian forces conducted offensive operations in the vicinity of Novomikhailivka and Vuhledar, Donetsk Oblast, but were unsuccessful. They also conducted airstrikes in the vicinity of Zolotaniva and Blahodatna, Donetsk Oblast, and shelled Novomikhailivka, Katerinivka, Blahodatna, Vuhledar, Bowa-Avlenka, Novokranka, Prekostivka, Shakhtarsk and Vlika Novosilka, Donetsk Oblast. Russian forces are on the defensive on the Zaporizhia and Kherson fronts. They conducted airstrikes in the vicinity of Makarivka, Donetsk Oblast, Lavadna, Malotokmichka and Novodanilivka, Zaporizhia Oblast, and Kozatsky, Kherson Oblast. Russian troops also shelled Ramivka and Makarivka, Donetsk Oblast, Zelene Pol, Novodarivka, Lavadna, Malinivka, Zatishia, Huliaipol, Huliaipilsky, Orikhiv, Lobko, Kamiansk, Zaporizhia Oblast, Mikhailivka, Novodmitrivka, Havrilivka, Kachkarivka, Berislav, Tomarin, Vesel, Kozatsky, Verhunka, Vyrovka, Ivanivka, Antoniivka, Kherson, Dniprovsky, Kizimys, Sofivka, Myrolyubivka, Kherson Oblast, and Oshakov Mykolaiv Oblast. Ukrainian aircraft carried out 7 airstrikes on areas where Russian military personnel were concentrated, and destroyed 1 Russian anti-aircraft missile system. Ukraine's defense forces also destroyed a Russian Ka-52 helicopter, 3 Iranian-made Shahed drones, and 5 reconnaissance drones. Units of Ukraine's rocket forces and artillery struck 2 Russian command posts, 4 anti-aircraft missile systems, 2 clusters of Russian military personnel and equipment, and 2 ammunition storage points. Russia had lost 219,820 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion in late February last year, with an estimated 650 casualties over June 17, the General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces reported on June 18. General Staff: Ukrainian Army repels Russian attacks in 4 directions. The General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces reported on June 18 that heavy fighting has been taking place in 4 directions: Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Marinka in Donetsk Oblast. In total, 17 clashes took place on the frontline over the past day. According to the report, the Russian army carried out more than 40 airstrikes and 60 strikes using multiple launch rocket systems. As a result of the attacks, civilians were killed, although the death toll was not reported. In addition, more than 20 residential buildings and a school have been either destroyed or damaged. According to the General Staff, Ukraine's Air Force launched 7 strikes at concentrations of Russian troops and destroyed 1 air defense system. During the day, Ukrainian troops also destroyed a Russian Ka-52 Alligator attack helicopter, 3 Iranian-made Shahed combat drones and 5 reconnaissance drones, the General Staff said. On June 18, Ukrainian artillery hit 2 Russian command posts, 4 air defense systems, 2 concentrations of Russian troops and military equipment, and 2 ammunition depots, according to the General Staff. Russians mine land plots of residents who left for territory controlled by Ukraine, General Staff. In the occupied village of Pokrovsky, Zaporizhia Oblast, Russian troops are mining private land plots of residents who have left for the territory controlled by Ukraine. Source: Report of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Quote: In the village of Pokrovsky, Zaporizhia Oblast, engineering units of the Russian occupation forces are mining private land plots of local residents who refused to obtain a Russian passport and left for the territory controlled by Ukraine. At the same time, agricultural land plots of local collaborators are not subject to mining.